Good girl, well done. So walking to heel, or my dog pulls like a steam train. Good girl. Now, very, very kind of, in my opinion, for what it's worth, the tool that you need to help you succeed in teaching this new skill of walking to heel is frowned upon because it's not used correctly, and that's just a box standard slip lead. And the reason why it's frowned upon is because people see dogs being walked by their owners on slip leads, and that dog is pulling them down the street, choking, coughing, breathing heavily, and it looks as if the lead is causing the dog massive discomfort. But it's not the lead, it's the application of the lead, i.e. where the lead is fastened to the dog. So what's happened there is the slip lead hasn't been fitted correctly, and it's slid back down the neck of the dog, and then we're back into potentially harness territory where the dog has got a lower centre of gravity to be able to pull us. It's got shoulders, it's got chest, it's got that massive configuration of muscle areas to aid the dog to pull. That then the dog will receive self-gratification and self-satisfaction just by pulling, and if it gets to where it wants to go and investigate by pulling, then the dog is always winning. So the reason why slip leads have a little bit of a bad press is because they're not fitted correctly. How do we fit them correctly? Well, what we want to do is we want to fasten or slide the toggle down on that slip lead. That toggle is the key piece of equipment on that bit of rope. If that toggle is loose, it will move, it will slide, and it won't be effective. What we need is a very tight toggle that stays where we want it to be. And where we want that toggle to be is right in between the centre of the ears of the dog. For example, we're not intruding or putting any pressure on any form of trachea or neck muscles or anything that's soft and pliable and fleshy within the dog's neck that could cause discomfort. What we're doing is we're applying the lead correctly above all of those soft and sensitive areas, directly around the jawline. If we've got control of the head, then the body will follow. If we've got control of the mind with the right amount of physical pressure in the right area, then the dog will follow. Coupled with a small set of nerve cluster endings, or cluster of nerve endings behind the dog's ears, we're applying pressure in the right area to get positive results. So there's nothing wrong with a slip lead, however it has to be fitted correctly. So Ruby here, bless her, used to pull like a train. However, what we've done is we've taught her what pressure actually means on the lead. Again, with all forms of dog training, there's a number of different ways of doing this. You can allow the dog to go forward and then lure it back with a treat. You can allow the dog to go forward, applying pressure or tension on the lead so the dog knows the difference, because pressure or tension on the lead is realistically just more uncomfortable for the dog than a loose lead. So when the dog does return to us in the correct heel position, we can reward it right by our left hand pocket if you're teaching the dog to walk on the left. So the dog is always getting rewarded when it is in the right position. Key things to note here are the hand that holds the lead has to be relaxed, it has to be loose, it has to be free flowing, but it never moves. It always stays down by the side that you're walking the dog on. So if the dog pulls or lags behind, what we don't want to do is give the dog line, give the dog inches to commit or carry on committing the crime. So although this left hand that I'm holding the lead with is loose and relaxed, and you can see the lead is not tight at all, it's not moving. So if she did make the decision to pull ahead, this would stay still. That then would cause the line to be tight, which then she will take the initiative to step back to us in the right heel position to then make that line loose. When she does that, then we can offer a reward or give her a bit of food or a bit of kibble or whatever, once she's in the right position. So how do we start this off? Right, the way that I do it, again, there's 1,001 ways of doing it, is I need to teach her This is a wall, this is a barrier. I do not want your nose going beyond this barrier or this wall. Come on, heel. So I start off looking incredibly stupid and sidestepping like so. Ruby, call her forward. Left hand stay still. Ruby, call her forward. Good. So my leading knee is a visual barrier, Ruby, to stop her from crossing it. If she was to cross it, this line would be tight because my left hand holding the lead never moves. So once she's got her head round that, Ruby, good girl. So you can see her just naturally stopping now. Ruby, good girl, good girl. Then what we do is we can add a little bit of a sideward shuffle where you don't look quite so ridiculous, like so. Yeah, but you can see she has learnt not to go beyond my leading leg. Good girl. Like so, good girl. All loose lead, all very relaxed, all very loose. Heel, good girl. Then what we can do is just walk normally. And again, if she does get distracted or she does start to pull or waver in a direction, what we can do is we can just apply a little bit of a check. It's not a pull, it's not a yank, it's a little check, but we have to do that in the upwards direction, because if we're pulling back or to the side, then two things will happen. That will breed or instill frustration in the dog, and two, it will annoy the dog, and three, it won't be as effective. So it's very, very key that when we're checking a dog in the right way at the right time with the right amount of pressure, that we do it upwards, not back. So as you can see, with very, very, very little effort now, this little dog no longer pulls like a train, because very, very quickly she has learned and realised a loose, relaxed lead is more beneficial, more rewarding, more comfortable than a tight lead which she is causing to be tight anyway. And another thing, a bit like the jumping up where you stand on the lead, she's learning the lesson. If she pulls and that line goes tight because my left hand holding the lead never moves, she will decide for herself to step back in the correct position of heel where we actually want her. Once she's done that and she's made the right decision, then we can reward her. Good girl. So literally, I'm just draping this lead over my finger now. Ruby, good girl. So, heel, pulling dogs. That is not the right time or the right training element to have with a harness. Yes, you can do it. However, you need to know what you're doing if a dog is on a harness and you are trying to teach a dog to heel on a harness, because you don't have any form of physical pressure or physical element or a physical contact with the dog. So you have to rely on luring to get the dog to come back to you all the time. It is achievable, however, it takes 3 times as long and you have to be more consistent with it, because what you're doing is you're overriding the physical strength of the dog because the dog has a harness on. And let's remember, guys, why harnesses were invented. Lots and lots of snow, I'm dressed in sealskin and a furry hat, I've got 12 huskies in front of me, mush, 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 pull. That is the same mindset and the same attitude of why harnesses don't really work for this element of training. So heel, yeah, all need it. We all love to walk our dogs on a very, very loose lead, like so, but we can only ever do that once they know what the pressure or the tension on the line actually means. Key things: rewarding and telling the dog to heel when they are in the right position. We're not telling the dog to heel when they're in front, because the dog will learn that's the position where heel actually is, not here. So key things are a little bit of pressure when she makes the decision to pull in front or lag behind or pull out to the side, and for her to relieve that pressure herself. Good girl. Come on in, good girl. So, little Ruby no longer pulls like a steam train.